May we stand? Eternal and all-wise Father, thou who art our creator, the most high God, Ahaya Asher Ahaya, you are the most high God, and we thank you and we praise you for your Son, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, and for your precious Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. We thank you for us sharing in this day at City Hall for the city of Waycross. We thank you for the blessing of the bishop that leads us along with the commission, and we pray now that you might guide them in the consideration of items that come before this commission for the good of this city and the citizens of this city. So we give you all praise, glory, and honor. We invoke the presence of your Holy Spirit so that heaven might invade earth and your will might be realized. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We want to thank our city manager for calling for our invocation and for the Reverend Malone for giving us our invocation and leading us in our pledge. At this time, we look to our city clerk and we ask if there are any guests for tonight.
No, Mr. Mayor.
Having no guests, we now turn the remainder of our agenda over to our city manager, Mr. Ulysses Rayford.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, Mayor, we only have one scheduled travel and training event. It's DMA Cities United Event Summit in Atlanta, Georgia, starting this Thursday.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we move into the planning information sessions, starting with the bids for Ms. Jackson.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioner.
Ms.
Commissioners,
Jackson.
I'm sorry. Purchasing has 3 items before you this evening. The first one is for a request to surplus approximately 12 fire hoses. These fire hoses have not been able to pass the required testing for operations in the fire department. And because of that fail, we're asking that these are surplus. There are 11 1 3/4 inch fire hoses that are 50 feet long each, and one at 50 feet long that's 3 inches each. We're requesting surplus so that we can sell them on Gov Deals.
Okay. Very good. So at this time, I'm going to look to the commission and get consensus for this surplusing of the 12 fire hoses. District 1?
Yes, sir.
District 2?
Yes, sir.
District 3?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes, sir.
We have consensus.
Next item for the commission, we had a bid out. The police department recently purchased 6 police Durangos, Dodge Durangos pursuit units for the police department, and it was at the commission's approval that we had these financed. So we put out a bid for financing. We received those bids. I do have a copy of the bid tab in the workbook for you. The lowest and the best bid came from Leasing Specialist in Peyton, Colorado at 4.95%. For that will be $5,090 per month for all 6 vehicles. We are asking that the commission approve this bid so that we can finance with this company.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Commission, you've heard the request for the financing for the police vehicles. What is your, well, I guess I need to get consent. I can't get a vote here, but this District 1.
Yes, sir.
District 2.
Yes, sir.
District 3.
Yes.
And District 5.
Yes, sir.
You have consent.
And the last item, for those 6 Dodge Durangos, there is police equipment that is needed for the interior of those vehicles, i.e. the light bars and the computer brackets and other items that are needed to fully equip that police vehicle so that it can be used on the street and patrol. We put out a bid for that. We received 2 bids. The lowest and best bid came from Interceptor Public Safety at a total of $48,200. $219, and that would be for the cost and installation of all 6 vehicles.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Commission, you have heard the request for the police vehicle equipment. We need consent. I'll check with Districts 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3,
Yes.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
We have consent. Thank you, Ms. Jackson. Our city manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're moving to the information session now, starting with the first item, which will be, well, let me start over. Mr. Mayor, we're gonna do something different moving forward for the meetings, just to make sure everybody stays in tune with what's going on with the city. So moving forward, I will restate the vision and the mission. Everybody can see that on the TV. Let them read that real fast. And once again, this is voted upon by the commission about 2 years ago. Next is the city priorities. And these are the bands that we discussed: infrastructure, services, quality of life, and city workforce. Within those bins are the following items: for service delivery, effective communication, customer service, efficiency, proficiency, business models and practice, data-driven, infrastructure, streets and roads, buildings, overpass, bridges, canals, alleys, retention ponds and stormwater, quality of life, affordable housing, job creation, recreation programs, outreach programs, community engagement partnerships, homelessness and gangs and drugs, and then for the city workforce, development, pay, morale, training, promotion. And these were the priorities that we voted upon my arrival, and we've been following these priorities since I've been here. Any question on that, Mr. Mayor?
None from me. Commission, did you have any questions?
No, sir.
Okay.
Next, Mr. Mayor, just to update the commission and the citizens where we are on our 10-year plan. The first 1 or 2 years, and we're about to end on year number 2. We got a little behind for a few reasons, but we did pick back up at the end of the year. And as you all remember, outside of Commissioner Roberts and Commissioner Nelson, for our short-term plans with those first 1 or 2 years, we focus on programs, policies, ordinance, and procedures review, which we've done in some capacity, but we still have some work to do on that. We defined workforce roles. We did make some changes in the workforce responsibilities to increase efficiency. We did research, implement, update. We're currently doing that as far as IT systems. I think we're about 3 months away from that being completed with the new IT systems. We worked on our branding and communication strategy. Created the Facebook page, social media presence, the app, and other things. The budget, we're trying to identify the cost savings. So we didn't reach that 5% my first year coming on board, but I'm confident this next year we'll find that 5% savings within the budget. And of course, to deliver quality city services. So now we move into year 2 here in March. I want to restate some of these objectives in year 2. Of course, we're going to keep on updating the policies and procedures, improvement of our standards in the workforce. As you see there, completion automation services, continue research, create ways to fix the infrastructure priorities as far as facilities, transportation, water and sewer, and develop a long-term financial strategy to once again cut some costs and hopefully generate some new revenue, and then maintain quality deliveries of our city services. And that's year 2 to 4 as voted upon my arrival. I just wanted to update the commission and the citizens who might not know what we kind of stick to as far as our priorities, as far as our 10-year plan. And I'll pause for any questions on that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Commission, do you have any questions? District 1?
No, sir.
District 2?
No, sir.
District 3?
No.
And District 5?
No, I do not.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So next we move to discussion items, starting with a voting precincts change request, and it will be presented by Mr. Nelson.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, I'm here to see if you would consider a precinct change, voting precinct change for District 1. About 5 years ago, I approached the commission And we talked about District 5 and District 3. At that time, we moved District 5 from the fire station to the City Auditorium, District 3 from the First Baptist Church downtown to the auditorium. And I'm asking for your consideration to move District 1 to the City Auditorium. And give you a little background. We 5 years ago, we made this suggestion because when we have city elections, it gets kind of confusing. And we just basically went through this again for the runoff. You know, with the new system that we have, I'm pleased to say that when we have a city and a county election, with the new poll pads and everything that we utilize, we can consolidate, just like we did for District 1 for the general election. Everything was at the county precinct. In the past, about 5 years ago, when we had a city election and a county election, the city residents would have to go to their city precinct and then go to their county precinct to vote, all on the same day if they didn't vote early. And so with the new system, that's consolidated. But what happened in November, since we had a city and a county election, the District 1 voters went to their city precinct, their county precinct, which is the City Auditorium. We had a runoff, so 30 days later, they had to go to the Board of Education on Bailey Street. And there was no way around it. You have to go to when it's a standalone city election, you have to go to your city precinct. And so we received quite a few calls. I even talked to the two candidates that was running, Commissioner Roberts and at that time it's Walker, and reminded them and tried to stress to them the importance of getting to their voters, making sure they don't go to the auditorium. Even though we received a lot of calls, you know, before the election, and where to vote? Are we going to the auditorium? Where? And so at that time we recommended that they voted early, and pleased to say that, you know, we had about 150 voters that voted early or by absentee ballots, and we only had 56 that voted on election day, which was a low turnout. But we received quite a few calls asking, why do we have to go to the school board? You know, where in the school board? You know, because it's in that building. It could be anywhere in that building. And at that time, the Board of Education gave us a little hallway in one of their sections. Now, in November coming up for the regular general municipal election, we don't know where it's going to be in that building, if it's going to be in that building. So it's just confusing. You know, this is not about disenfranchising any voters. Actually, you know, this makes it much easier for the voters to understand where they're going to vote on election day. So that means all of the District 2, the District 3, and District 1 voters, if this change is made, will go to the City Auditorium for all elections, and it won't be no confusion about where to vote on this election or another election. And so I'm here to take questions, comments. I think this is a city election. It's up to you, you know, to make a change. All we can do is make a recommendation, you know, and you know, if you decide not to do it, that's fine. But if you decide to do it, we need to know early spring, because that gives us time to make the change in the system, and that way every registered voter will get a new precinct card showing their the change in their city precinct.
Superintendent, would you want to ask a couple of questions? One question I needed to ask then is, by having done this will move several things around, but it will make it one thing. We will all be in one place voting at all times. Will this be, say for instance, if there is an election, say we have county and city again, will it be in the same locality?
It would be in the same locality. You know, District 4 and District 5, you know, they're consolidated into the stadium, and right now 2 and 3 is at the City Auditorium, and District 1 is the only, you know, the only district that's outside of the auditorium. And it's gonna be kind of confusing in November, if it's not, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's not made, because all the voters in 1, 2, 2 and 3 is gonna say, okay, I go to the auditorium, but then District 1, you know, I don't know how many people's gonna go to the auditorium thinking, well, that's where I go, but then they're gonna have to turn around and go to the, school board. So, but like I said, the pleasure is yours. You know, I just wanted to bring this to your attention so we can go ahead and look at, if we're gonna make this change, go ahead and get it in the system as soon as possible so we can start educating the voters.
Okay. So do you just need a consensus so you can make that change?
Well, I would like a vote, not now, I mean, for your regular meeting.
Right.
So we can go ahead and start the process with the Secretary of State's office.
Okay. What we'll do is first start with consent so we can have it on our agenda for tonight, and then we can make sure that it's done if that's proper.
We need to have a resolution to approve that change.
Yes, sir. So I'll make sure by consent that we can make that resolution.
Yes.
Okay. District 1,
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
So we can get a resolution prepared, and then we'll vote upon it, and that will be done. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Next on the agenda, Mr. Mayor, we're gonna move into HB 5A1 update. And I'm gonna move to the meat of the briefing. The Tax Commission has been gracious to brief us a few times on this, and we're to the point now where we have to make a vote to opt in or opt out. And we'll let the Tax Commissioner say a few words on recommendations, and then we'll go from there. Thank you, Mr.
Very
Mayor.
good.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners.
Good afternoon, sir.
I guess I'm here to talk about HB 581. Okay, as the city manager was saying, it's a very time restrictive deal if you're gonna opt out or if you're gonna stay in. Right now, the current deadline is March 1st of opting out and recording that with the Secretary of State's office. My recommendation, is to opt out because the bill was passed for the welfare of the taxpayers. But the city freeze, the county freeze, and the school freeze supersedes 581. It by far and away is better. Our homestead is better than anything the state has put in. And by not opting out, we're causing our assessors to have to keep track of a fourth. They have to keep track of fair market values. So they have to keep track of the real fair market value of the house. And if they sign up for homestead, and the county freeze went into effect in 2002. So they got to keep track of their market value, what they had in 2002. The school and the city's freeze went into effect in 2008. So they have to keep track of that fair market value. So they're already keeping track of 3 fair market values. And if you opt in or if you stay in, they're going to have to keep track of 4 numbers, and that causes more work on them. And seeing as now is law that they have to revalue every property. I'm sorry. Every property in the county every 3 years. So they're constantly going to be out there doing that. They're going, and from what I remember when I was on the board of assessors, what it was done is we revalued the county in thirds, a third a year. That way we cover every 3 years. So that's the way that they're going to do it since our county is so big. We got 22,000 parcels, and they're going to stay busy doing that. And it's just causing more work, unnecessary work, to have to track another House Bill 581's fair market value with a percentage increase every year. And they run the risk of getting anything wrong, and the city can be sued, the school can be sued, and the county can be sued if something is messed up. And there's no reason for that. The freezes that we have in place is by far and away better for the taxpayers than anything the state has to offer. And I will say, I received an email and there was somebody who had gotten confused, a personal property bill, House Bill 808 that was voted on also and that was passed, raising the exemption from $7,500 to $20,000. But it was House Bill 808, but Article 581, and they getting those misconstrued. The personal property exemption is $20,000, and that's going forward. It's going to be $20,000. So that's not to be misconstrued on that.
Okay. I can open up for conversation and questions. District 1, did you have any questions of our commissioner?
No, sir, not at this time.
District 2?
No, sir.
District 3?
No.
And District 5?
I'm good.
Okay. So what we need here is you wanted to note, not only just educate our community, but also to find out what do we as a commission, do you want us to do?
Right. So, like I said, my professional recommendation is to
Opt out.
opt out. And you have to have 3 hearings. They have to be advertised and have 3 hearings, and the ads have to be a minimum of 30 square inches. It's like the tax increase ads, but they had to have done if you had a tax increase. And you got 3 public hearings. And then it has to be you voted on. If it's approved, you send it to the Secretary of States and have it recorded by March 1st.
So what is the ask of this commission today? Do you need us to do anything specific? That I do understand that 3 hearings would have to take place and that those ads have specific qualifiers for them to be legal. Is it just educational for today, or what do we need to do?
No, I was asked to come speak to you guys. But my recommendation is you need it time consuming. It's, you got to advertise for a week before you can have the first hearing, and we're rapidly approaching March 1st.
Understood.
So it was just basically where do y'all stand? What are y'all going to do?
Okay.
Because the school is opting out, and the county is opting out.
Thank you. So I'm noticing that you may mention that the county did a freeze in 2002, the city and school did 2008.
Yes,
But that was
the representatives. That was Representative Boggs, not Judge Boggs. When he left, he had the county resolution and the freeze passed up in the state legislature, and then Representative Hatfield done his in 2007. It went in effect 2008.
Okay.
So our homesteads are by far and away better than anything, because their base year they're going to use 2024, and in 2025 that's not going to go up, but 2026 it's going to, there's a CPI index that the state is going to use, and it's the CPI-U index, and that can be as high as 3, as it can be 5%. They don't know. That's a variable based on the inflation rate and all that.
okay. So what I will do then, so that we can go ahead and get everything started, being that we are behind the 8 ball in a sense, as far as time is concerned, I will go ahead and see what the commission feels regarding your recommendation of opting out. Okay. District 1.
Why not? We opt out. Is that what you're asking, sir? To make sure? Yes, sir. Opt out.
District 2.
Yes, sir.
District 3.
Yes.
And District 5.
Yes, sir, opt out and move forward.
Mr. Mayor.
So you have heard the response, but Commissioner Bennett has a question or comment?
Yes, I just, so you said we need to have 3 public hearings. So we need to do one of these, how will we do that? Once a week?
We're gonna put one in the paper for the 29th, and then the hearings can be the same day. Correct.
The hearings can be the same
Yeah.
day. Now, that I will say that for all of them to be in one day is not very taxpayer friendly.
Yeah.
But one is required to be between the hours of 6 and 7 p.m.
Yeah, so that was just a mention, but we're gonna do the in the paper on 29th. We have meetings on the 3rd and the 4th, so we'll do hearings then, and then the last hearing will be on the second meeting of the month for us, and that'll give us those 3 meetings. And I want to say the last meeting will be the 17th, so it'll be the 3rd, the 4th, and the 17th, but it'll go in the paper on the 29th.
So 3rd, 4th, and 17th would be those dates.
3rd, 4th, and 17th.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Commissioner, did you have another question for our city manager?
No, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the hotel motel tax increase. As you remember, we brought this to the board once before about raising the motel tax to a 1% increase. At that time, it was voted down. So I'm bringing it to the commission again. This is one of those situations about a charter change that would need full commission vote to implement. I did sit on the previous tourism board, and I believe if Ms. Simmons could come out, as I recall, they were all in favor of it. They did talk to all the hotels about it. As you know, this would not affect any Waycross citizens. About 95% of the people using the hotels do not reside here. That money would go in tourism, other things, but we do see it value added. I was just making sure that we voted yes on that at the board. Everybody was on it? Yeah, okay. Yes, everybody on the tourism board was in agreement with it. Any new money coming in, part of that will go to promote the city. There are a few items they want to do to help promote the city for businesses here, so that will go a long way for us. So I'm bringing it to the commission today, but based on us not having one of the commissioners here, I'm not sure if we can even take a vote on this, because the state needed a complete vote.
Yeah, unanimous.
So can this be considered unanimous, or we can't do it that way because she's
Can't do
missing?
it that way.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
has to be changed by the state, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they want to.
What is the time frame for this one?
So we had to the 20th to get it to our state legislators. I was gonna, but if Commissioner Hawkins comes tomorrow, we can vote on tomorrow. If y'all decide to put it on the agenda.
Okay, so today is the day of the vote. Because you know we have 2
That's
meetings
right.
today.
She might come at the meeting
Tonight.
tonight, perhaps so.
Okay.
But we need a full vote, full commission vote.
Okay.
By 1% again, because I did reach back out, like I said, to all of the tourism board members and some of the hotel owners. So we have a couple hotels coming in now, and like I said, 95% of the population the use of the hotel not from Waycross, so we're not affecting our citizens in any way. But by doing this increase, we would add to our ability to promote Waycross broader and better across Georgia.
Okay.
And I pause there for your consideration, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner, do you have any questions of our city manager?
No, sir.
District 2, no. District 3,
No.
and 5?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Can we get consent to put it on the vote just in case, Mr. Mayor?
We can check, let's see. District 1, would you be in agreement?
Yes, sir.
District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3,
Thank you.
and District 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we have 3.
Okay, thank you. Next, Mr. Mayor, we move on to the Waycross 101 course. It's coming up in February, and I want to do a quick reminder for our citizens who might be watching right now or unaware of the program, and also the commission. As you know, the program is structured for around 5 strategic commitments. Of course, the first one will be the Waycross Charter introduction. We'll go over the charter with all those citizens and a few other things about how cities are run. The next one will be Budget 101. We'll cover the entire budget for those citizens to include auditing purposes. The next day will be workforce roles and responsibility, and that will go over the entire workforce, who does what, why, when, and where. And then the directors panels, question and answer. I'm going to add to that panel, we're going to reach out to our key stakeholders in the community because it is one team. So we are going to reach out to the county, the school board, the Downtown Development Authority, and a few other organizations, the hospital, people like that in nature, to kind of sit down and show how we're all connected in that conversation there, and they'll take questions. And the last board will be, of course, yourself and the commission do a question and answer session. So right now we have 24 signed up. I I think the target was, I want to say it was 40 was the target, so hopefully we get 40. If not, that's fine. Regardless of the number that we get, this will be some more citizens that have the total understanding of what's going on here versus what they might get from somebody who does not know, which is, you know, what we want to do right now. So that way, when people are critical of us, they'll have the right understanding. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on the Waycross Citizens one-on-one course for yourself and the body, the commission.
Thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're going to have a presentation, a community improvement event. It's going to be presented by the Medlocks, with Mrs. Medlock. And I don't think we have slides at this time. We don't have slides, but she's going to present to you an idea she has about improving the community.
Very good.
Thank you to the mayor of the city of Waycross and Waycross commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity, and city manager. Our conversation comes to you today from a briefing that we had with the police chief of the city of Waycross. And in that briefing, he advised us about the current concern among at-risk youth here in the city of Waycross, particularly ages 13 to 17, as we're seeing an increase of violence among this particular age group. Everything from murders to aggravated assaults, shootings and drive-bys. And what was really alarming was the sophisticated weaponry that they are using. AKs, drum magazines that carry a high amount of capacity, 50 to 100 rounds is what we're told. Breaking into cars and stealing these guns, and how these guns are getting into the community. What we're seeing across this age group is that their influence is coming in from some of them being bullied, some for money, of course, and then people that they look up to, of course, influencing their behavior. We've seen a murder just a few days ago, and then also someone was shot. So the shootings, according to the police department, are on a rise, and the automatic weapons with high capacity is on a rise. We come to you with over nearly 40 years of experience in working in the communities and at-risk youth from cities like the city of Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles. And through our efforts in the nonprofit sector, we have been able to affect change in these cities. We're getting children off of the streets, providing them with programs, and redirecting their attention and their focus. And we'd like to offer some solutions for the community and the city of Waycross as well. Under the non-for-profit that we chair, Hood Help Ministries, Inc., it's a non-for-profit organization that's dedicated to serving at-risk youth and underprivileged communities through the lens of and the framework of modern culture. Our mission is to educate and empower using culture as a catalyst for social change and community well-being. We bring nearly 40 years or over 40 years of collective experience launching national social cause initiative with some of the biggest names in the entertainment industry, like Snoop Dogg and his Youth Football League and City of Chicago and Tour, Jim Brown's American, and T.I.'s Gun Amnesty, Hip Hop Wellness, and PTSD, and more. Hood Help locally serves at-risk youth and their families with mentoring and life skills, home essentials, clothing giveaways, health and wellness programs to help reduce anxiety, depression, poverty, food disparity, and violence, and more. On February 1st or February 8, 2025, we are proposing a collaboration on an event with the city of Waycross with a special emphasis on this particular group of at-risk male, age 13 to 17. We're proposing in a one-day setting, a gun amnesty day here in the city of Waycross, what's called Hip Hop Detox, and a martial arts training day at the city auditorium. Our aim is intervention and prevention of gang activity among this age group. We have been successful with gun amnesty days, particularly when hip-hop icon T.I. of Atlanta was arrested in 2007 for allegedly trying to purchase these high-capacity firearms. We teamed with T.I. on his way to prison to send a message to young people that this was not the way. And so we have done this in numerous occasions across the cities like Chicago and New York, to use hip-hop as a catalyst for social change, as we see that they are the main influencers of this particular group of demographics. They're the primary influencers. So here's how the day would progress. It would be put down the guns. The gun amnesty day is basically bring any firearm, no question asked. We normally, in a city like Chicago and in New York, when we partnered with TI, we also partnered with faith-based organization and local churches, as that was the neutral grounds by which they can bring their gun in without any penalty, and then without the threat of possibly being in trouble, okay? So we would do that here as well. The aim, of course, is to get the guns out of the hands of the minors, as the police has told us the type of weaponry they are using on each other and other citizens. All citizens can bring any firearm without any penalty. Messaging will be reinforced by local and national hip-hop celebrity. Through our efforts here locally to give back to the city of Waycross and help with poverty, we know there's a great link between poverty and crime. And so we've been on a concerted effort to help to give back to the communities to help ease some of that burden. We did get the recognition from international hip-hop icon Snoop Dogg, who recently, or Calvin Broadus, who recently expressed his support live on Instagram and the desire to come to Waycross to assist us with the work that we're doing here. We also, inside of that day, so in the mornings they can bring back their gun, or all throughout the day, we will also have defend with your hands. We know that threats are real, so we want to teach them a way to for self-defense without using weapons. And so with that, it's an all-males martial arts training day workshop where young males learn self-defense techniques, respect for themselves and authority, discipline, leadership skills. The training will be hosted by the School of Survival out of Chicago with over 30 years of experience with working with inner city youth. We also would like, because of the hip-hop, the messaging in hip-hop music and culture, we do believe there is a need for a detox and a healing to happen, and we can do that through music. Hip-hop Detox is actually a non-for-profit organization. It's actually a public health organization out of the city of Chicago, and its base is Chicago, but they do travel around the country as well as internationally. They specialize in the use of media and popular culture to teach urban youth critical thinking skills that inform them of their cultural heritage, initiate positive and social development. This approach also helps to cancel out any negative imaging consistently fed to urban youth at home, through their televisions, and in public spaces, through aggressive marketing campaigns, as we see. The strength and influence of pop culture on youth today, in today's society, is undeniable. The Hip Hop Detox will focus in on improving family and communities, healthy lifestyle choices, promoting healthier behavior, providing leadership training, violence prevention, edutainment, and providing both preventative and interventive services, as well as trauma informed services. They are licensed for trauma-induced form. There is also one other action item here. We were awaiting, we didn't have it on here, we were awaiting the final word because there was a conflict in schedule. But we like to also introduce for the younger children, because we know the link between, by the 4th grade, if they have not performed well with reading, they are headed into the area where these young people are and at the ages of 13 and 17. So with that, we thought we would engage them as well with a STEM education initiative with hip-hop mogul Damon Dash. The Dash family, as you all may know, Damon Dash is the CEO and founder of Rockefeller Records with Jay-Z. And he and his family, his wife and his small child, age 4, are on a STEM education initiative with books that promote STEM education to young at-risk youth, and to give them another vehicle by which they can move their attention to. They have agreed and have reached out to us just a little while ago to say they are available for both of those days to accompany us and to help with that. Their presence will also bring in about almost 500 books for students here in the city of Waycross toward this initiative, or more if we're able to help with that. We do know firsthand, we are parents of young African American males, two of them who came out of this community, and we were able to successfully, with my husband, send them on to Division I schools, Chicago State and Georgia Tech, as well as DePaul University, as well as Miami, the University of Miami. And out of Chicago, our son, we started him out with the Snoop Youth Football League that we brought into the city of Chicago after 15-year-old Jarian Albert was killed in a after high school, walking home during a fight. That fight made national news. We stepped in and began to work with those children who were left behind after CNN had left our communities. And we were able to bring in Snoop's Football League to the city, which resulted into 35 teams across the city of Chicago, taking young African-American boys and all children who were at risk off of the streets. And as a part of that, we also teamed with the Midwest orthopedics surgeon to teach young African-American children that they may not, though they have hoop dreams and dreams to play ball, it's not a real reality for everyone. And so we partnered with the sports industry to teach or to give them a internship with the sports medicine team there with the Chicago Bulls, et cetera. My son was a part of that, and today we're proud to say that he is a medical student today in the city of Chicago. So we do have real measurables when it comes to what we offer for the city of Waycross. And we would like for your consideration to partner with us on this event.
Thank you for your presentation, Ms. Medlock.
You're welcome.
This is very encouraging. We need to hear these kind of stories and anecdotes and realities that have come, because we know we're seeing an uptick in these kinds of things, not just amongst the age groups that we mentioned, 13 through 17, which of course you even went back a little further to say we can start a little bit earlier.
That's right.
And especially with the reading portion of it, because we find that illiteracy is one of the major problems that we have, and it also is like a pipeline to prison.
Prison, yes.
So our goal is to cut the pipeline off.
That's right. Yes.
And make certain that our students and our young people don't get involved in that. And one of the things we have to do is learn how to deal with our own personal emotional intelligence.
Yes.
And I think that's one of those kinds of things that this program sounds like it would do.
Yes, sir.
What is your ask of the city of Waycross?
Yes, we are asking for, we can handle logistics for helping to get and organizing it, because we've done it across the city, but we are asking for assistance with the budget to get everybody in and to pay for the services of them coming through.
So this will be a part, like the budgeting portion of it?
Yes, sir.
I see, exactly. I'm going to open the floor up for questions from the commission, and they will possibly be able to steer some conversations around this as well in the community. And I know many of them are having what I'm grateful for seeing in these next few days, even more town halls. And this would be awesome to have these conversations amongst those persons who are in those sections. Any questions, District 1?
Thank you, ma'am. But do you know what kind of budget we looking at?
Yes, sir. We're approximately 20,000 for everything that we presented.
20,000.
Yes, sir.
And District 2?
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
And your dedication. Commissioner Roberts asked one question. Okay, so you said that you all will be here for the hip hop detox.
Hip Hop Detox. Hip Hop Detox, so it would be a one-day event, and through that day, there would be the gun amnesty, so they can bring back their guns. There's also martial arts training, and then there's Hip Hop Detox, and then also Mr. Dame Dash and his wife.
Okay, and what date?
February 1st or February 8th are the dates that everybody's available that we mentioned.
On the 8th, okay.
So those both are Saturdays, so we thought that would be best.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Miller.
Thank you.
District 3, any questions?
Yes, Mayor. Thank you, Ms. Medlock, for
Yes,
your
ma'am.
presentation.
Thank you.
And my question is directed to the city manager. If we as a commission were to support the Hood Help Ministries initiative, where would this funding come from out of the city's budget? Or and is the funding available to support this initiative?
Not the 20,000. No, it's not. Not the whole 20,000. Chief Cox has some money he has from Caesars. They could put up to it, and that's the money we're looking at right now. But we couldn't support the whole 20,000. So
And is the question or the ask for the entire amount, or is just a portion of the amount?
well, what I would like to do, we had a chance to get a full talk on this. There are other organizations who can donate too, so we're gonna try to get with them as well. Of course, Downtown Development Authority, some other nonprofits here, and just had time to put it together. So depending what everybody could put in, we kind of go from there.
So we have a little short span of time for the 1st and the 8th, so
Yes.
we need to do something very quickly if we're going to do that.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions? Okay. District 5, questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for a great presentation.
Yes, sir.
There is a need. There's a bad need.
Yes, sir.
I would like to know from the city manager, city attorney, could the tourism part handle some of that with the hotel motel tax 1 cent addition that we normally have in place?
Well, the tourism board can always donate. They always donate to other events too. They're one of the boards we're going to talk to about donating as well.
Okay, okay. That's all, Mr. Mayor.
Very good. And interestingly, we don't control the tourism board, so
Correct, Mr.
yeah,
Mayor.
and that would be something that the tourism board would have to come to agreement on in that regard. But those are our questions. But this is a phenomenal start.
Thank you.
I'm thankful for this conversation. We needed this, and we need this. To be honest with you, if I had it, I'd pay for it myself, but I don't have it right now.
Yeah. Thank you.
But yeah, this is good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Medlock. So, Mr. Mayor, just a quick update on the weather. So the snow has reached the far west side of Georgia. So it's about 3 to 4 inches in Columbus and Albany. So it is headed this way, unless it starts to turn north. So just let everybody know that stage right now. So it's a little bit more snow than was predicted. It's coming down right now.
More snow than predicted.
Yes. So.
Okay. And we know power lines will be challenged by this kind of event.
Well, we got teams out that can with Georgia Power that can deal with the power lines as far as they can, as far as knocking ice off. Hopefully it won't get to that point, but I just want everybody to know the Lord's head that way, head this way.
Okay, thank you.
Next, Mr. Mayor, we're gonna move into, the finance update, and we did add a change here. I'm gonna move the per diem update, to the top, and then I'll go down to the other items. And the per diem update is gonna be handled by the finance director.
Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, I put a revised travel expense voucher at your desk. And the bottom right, I highlighted in yellow the revised date of it, which is tomorrow. When we recently started looking at this, I was thinking I needed a consensus or a resolution to change this as we do annually. But after talking with the city attorney, we put something in place a few years ago where I could automatically, as finance director, change this every year. The mileage rate is what the IRS uses, and they use the calendar year. And then the per diem is from the federal government, the GSA, I believe is the abbreviation for what they do. And so I've updated this travel voucher, travel expense voucher. They added a couple of cities, Athens and Augusta, to the list, and then there's a per diem rate for other cities in Georgia that are not specifically listed here. At the upper right, on line 2, on the right last column, you see that the IRS has changed their mileage rate to 70 cents per mile. And looking at the middle of the page, you know, it has the per meal and the per day per diem from the federal government, and they went up, you know, a little bit on each of these rates. And like I said, I put tomorrow as the effective date. That way, if anybody turned in any travel today to purchasing or to purchasing and/or accounts payable, you know, it wouldn't affect them.
Okay.
Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Yes. I'll open the floor to the commission. Commissioner, District 1, did you have any questions concerning the voucher of our director?
No, sir.
Okay. District 2
No, sir.
and District 3?
I just have a comment, Mayor.
Okay.
Thank you, Finance Director, for acknowledging this request. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Back to you, Mayor.
Okay. Thank you. And District 5?
I talked to him later, Mr. Mayor, that's okay.
Okay. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Mr. Mayor, in due of the weather, we're gonna go ahead and get the last group out of here that's not tied to us. So we're gonna jump to the Ethics Board update, and then we'll go back into the regular meeting, if that's okay with you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Sounds good.
City Attorney.
All right. Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, the first item for consideration by the board is the complaint that was filed by Glenn Martin Gray against the city of Waycross, case number 2024-003. The Board of Ethics met on last Wednesday, January the 15th, to consider this complaint. And after consideration of the complaint, the board met in an executive session and made a decision regarding this complaint. And at this time, I'm going to call upon the chairperson, Reverend Pharrell Malone, to come and present the board's decision in order.
Honorable Mayor and Honorable City Commissioners, the Board of Ethics, the City of Waycross, Glenn Martin Gray complainant versus the City of Waycross, Georgia respondent, case number 2024-003. The order of the Board of Ethics dismissing complaint. Before the Board of Ethics, the board, which will be considered in the future communications, is a complaint filed by Glenn Martin Gray against the City of Waycross, Georgia, alleging lack of oversight and accountability in city-issued credit card spending, allegedly in violation of the Code of Ethics of the City of Waycross, Georgia. The board met on January 15th, 2024, in a public meeting to consider 2025? 2025, yes. 2025, and a public meeting to consider the allegations set forth in the complaint. After an executive session and during a public vote, the board decided to dismiss the complaint for the reasons stated below. The complainant, Glenn Martin Gray, filed an ethics complaint against the City of Waycross, Georgia on December 5th, 2024. The Board of Ethics for this complaint was formed on December 17th, 2024. At the time of the filing, the complainant was a member of another Board of Ethics investigating another complaint involving similar allegations against a city commissioner and alleged lack of oversight by the City of Waycross in case number 2024-001. The complainant summarized his concerns as follows. During the course of testimony in multiple hearings related to the Ethics Board case 2024-001, it was revealed that the City of Waycross government has failed to implement adequate oversight and accountability mechanisms regarding spending on city-issued credit cards. The lack of diligence raises serious ethical concerns and poses significant risk to the integrity of the city's financial management practices. The complainant did not set forth any specific examples of lack of oversight and accountability in the city-issued credit card spending, nor did the complaint allege specific facts regarding certain city officials, either by name or position, whose conduct could be construed as being in violation of the city code of ethics. At best, the complaint filed on December 5th, 2024, only made reference to an ongoing Ethics Board case number 2024-001, which was not decided with finding of facts and conclusions of law until December 13th, 2024. The legal standards. The City of Waycross Code of Ethics provides in part that upon receipt of a complaint in proper form, the board shall review the complaint to determine whether the complaint is unjustified, frivolous, patently unfounded, or fails to state facts sufficient to invoke disciplinary jurisdiction. Section 2-167, C1. The discussion. In applying the above legal standards of the allegations of the Gray complaint, the board concluded that upon receipt of the complaint did not allege specific facts regarding certain city officials, either by name or position, whose conduct could be construed as being in violation of the city code of ethics. In other words, the complaint lacked specificity in identifying examples of lack of oversight and accountability in city-issued credit card spending, and further identifying the individual or individuals who were responsible for the alleged lack of oversight upon receipt of the complaint on December 5th, 2024. The burden rested upon the complainant to point out specific examples of unethical misconduct by named individuals in support of his allegations in the complaint at the time of the filing, which he did not do. The board also noticed that the relief requested in the Gray complaint, including a comprehensive financial review of city-issued credit card spending and referral to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, GBI, is already a part of the relief requested in the Board of Ethics case number 2024-001. The order of the Board of Ethics. For all of the above and foregoing reasons, the board hereby dismissed the Gray complaint in its entirety. The complaint filed to allege facts sufficient to invoke disciplinary jurisdiction, Section 2-167, C1. Pursuant to the City of Waycross Code of Ethics, a rejection shall prevent refiling of a complaint regarding the same subject and alleged perpetrator for the same offense within 6 months of the original complaint filing. Section 2-167C2. Ordered on this day, 2025, amen, on the 15th, January 15th, 2025. The Board of Ethics in the City of Waycross, Reverend Farrell M. Malone Sr., Board Chair, Board Members, O.C. Andrews, Dr. Earl Martin, Tim Peacock, and Dr. Janae Walker. Amen.
And Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, now that the order has been presented to the board, either party has 10 days in order to request an appeal with the city manager, should they decide to do so. But today was just to present the order of the board to the commission.
So after this presentation they still have 10 days before any decision can be made here, or?
Yes.
Okay, understood.
They have 10 days within which to file an appeal, and this board has to give them their 10 days before you can make any decisions.
What date would that be from this point?
That would be, let's see, the board actually, what is the decision? It would be 10 days from today's date. So this is the 21st, so it'll be the 31st. It'll be the 31st.
Thank you. Commissioner Nelson has a question.
So in that 10 days, he could come back and have to appeal it to whom? The board or this board?
To the city commission.
Okay.
Right. If he doesn't appeal it, then it's over because the order was a dismissal of the complaint.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
And there wouldn't be anything for you to do unless he appealed it.
Okay.
With that thought, no additional paperwork or anything like that can be done. Like, for instance, whereas it said there was no specificity and it was considered frivolous because of that, then there would be no open door for any specific paperwork to be filed with that. It just had to be refiled as was presented prior to.
Within a period of 6 months.
Yeah.
Or not before 6 months, I should put it that way.
I see.
Because the initial complaint should have had some specifics in order to support the complaint, and the board determined that it didn't.
So if there is nothing else added to it, then the recommendation probably would be the same as it would be. So we understand.
Right.
Thank you.
And there's one other ethics board matter, and that is the matter of the Sanders complaint. The order of the board in the Sanders complaint was presented to the commission on January the 17th, I believe. No, it was presented, it's dated January the 3rd, and it was presented on the last meeting, on the 7th, January the 7th. That complainant had 10 days to file an appeal. The complainant did not. So at this point, the recommendation of the Board of Ethics is before this commission. And that recommendation was, just to read it, order of the board, for all of the above and foregoing reasons, the board hereby dismisses the Sanders complaint in its entirety. The board does not, the complaint does not allege a violation of the City of Waycross Code of Ethics. However, the board finds that the probing question of city staff regarding free use of the city auditorium to honor a hometown hero who made the ultimate sacrifice for her country was insensitive. Recommendation to commission, having found that the questioning of city staff regarding the free use of the city auditorium to honor Sergeant Kennedy as Sanders was insensitive, the board recommends that the mayor and commission of the City of Waycross issue a formal letter of apology to Sergeant Kennedy L. Sanders. So ordered January the 3rd, 2015. So that is what is before this board, is the recommendation that was made by the Board of Ethics.
Okay. So the recommendation, what do you need from the board today? You just need a consent or you need a vote?
Well, the board has to decide whether you will accept that recommendation and issue a letter of apology to the Sanders family, whether you do not want to do that.
Okay.
And since the complaint was dismissed, you don't have those other options that you would normally have, such as affirming the decision of the board, reversing the decision of the board, referring it for prosecution, or remanding it. Those don't apply because the complaint was dismissed. This is simply a recommendation following dismissal that the board has made to this commission for your consideration.
Okay. Board, you've heard the recommendation to consider a letter to the Kennedy LaDawn Sanders family. What do you desire to do? And I'll go to District 1,
Yes, sir, I believe the apology should be made, sir.
District 2,
Absolutely, yes, sir.
District 3,
I'll pass.
and District 5.
Yes, sir.
We have 3 to recommend or to consider or to go ahead and do, and then 1 passed or abstained.
And a majority of the commission is what carries today
Okay.
for purpose of this appeal, or this recommendation, I should say.
So we'll move forward with a letter of apology. Good.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're gonna jump back to the finance update and then move on to the rest of the line items. So, Mr. Mayor, what I'm presenting to you now is the finance update, and these are some of the items that we had in the offer from previous meeting. These are estimates on these costs, and what I'm doing now, present them to the board. We'll go back and get the bids. Want to go ahead and let the board know what's gonna go on as far as these monies. So, the scanner contract is estimated at $20K. It is much needed. As you know, the whole basement is full of paperwork that we need to get scanned to the system so we can better coordinate with outside agencies. It's been need to be done for many years now, so this is very important we get this done now. The animal shelter, additional $50K towards that. As you know, we did put some money in that initially from the ARPA maybe last year. However, the shelter needs some more upgrades to it. We're trying to figure out how to get some more capacity right now. As you know, that shelter stays full pretty much 100% throughout the year. So we're trying to get a couple more, a few more cages in there, and then a couple more upgrades to make it better house for the animals that stay there and the workforce that works there. Next with the sewer pump. Now this sewer pump is actually a combination of 3 pumps down at the water sewer plant. They briefed these a few times before about needing these pumps. I went ahead and put that in the offer because it's imperative we go ahead and buy these pumps. Of course, they've all failed already. We want backup pumps at this time. So we want to get these done as quick as possible. The street sweeper, as you know, our street sweeper is decades old as well. So it's kind of served its purpose. This is not the quote for a new street sweeper. I think it's, and Ms. Jackson will verify that once she does the bidding process, but I think it's a few years old. We can't afford a brand new street sweeper, but we need one better than what we have right now. So that's the money put towards that. The backhoe, as you all know, as far as public works, additional fuel truck, we're short 2 fuel trucks as is, and then the tractor. So all these monies will come out of the ARPA, as I stated earlier. And right now, I'm just asking for a concession on this and put it on the agenda, and then we'll go out and get these things bid so we can get these to our public works department as soon as possible. And I'll pause there for any questions.
Open floor to the commission for questions you may have. District 1,
No, sir.
District 2,
No, sir.
District
No.
3, and District 5.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And Mr. Attorney, do we need a resolution, or we can pass on that because we need a resolution when we actually purchase the items, as far as the money cost individually? Just making sure.
No, you don't need a resolution.
Okay, all right. All right, Mr. Mayor, next we'll move into the infrastructure update, and we'll start with the parks and streets, Sweat Street, and then a JITA update. So y'all got the daily priorities update today. Basically, all of our paving had to stop because of the weather. It stopped actually last week when the cold front came in. I know if you ride around, you see a lot of open drainage ways. So the first part of the streets was to fix some of the drainage. That's why you see a lot of those pipes exposed right now. We're trying to cover that right now because of the storm coming in. So that was the goal last week and pretty much right now up to this point. We might not make it. With the dirt roads, they're doing the same thing. They're getting some of the drainage done, so there's been any moving on those because of the weather. As soon as the weather gets back right, they'll start repaving all the roads. So really right now, all we got done was Open Air Street as far as complete, and the rest of the roads are kind of waiting on the weather right now. And I pause for any questions on those comments as far as the streets.
Commissioner, if you have any questions, just let me know, and I'll let the city manager know. Hearing none, continue.
Also last week, as far as the parks, the city engineering firm met with the park designers, had an initial meeting. I could not make that meeting, but we did make sure that we asked the question that we talked about as far as the water parks having access, having the motors having access for our department, able to fix that if it breaks again, and a few other things. Work on that. It's kind of got behind too because of the weather, but I'm right now they're telling me we should start sometimes next month, but it's also depending on weather. It looks like as long as it remains cold, they won't be able to do anything. So that could push us as far as March, as far as getting those parks started. I know it's unfortunate for everybody, but unfortunately they can't do a lot of work in the cold with the materials. And I pause any questions about the parks.
Any questions concerning parks district?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we'll move into the Sweat Street rehab. And I'm gonna read this to y'all. I know y'all are familiar with this. We had a sinkhole formed on Sweat Street near the intersection of Pendergrass Street. The sinkhole, it caused failure of the clay sewer line that runs under Sweat Street. We contracted the southeast pipe to clean and video the section of Sweat Street, North Corridor Z. Based on that video they provided, there were several other areas that's allowing groundwater and sediment to enter sewer collection systems. As such, there's areas like this on that one line that have surface that have not been revealed yet, meaning that one pipe, and it does run underneath Corridor Z, is probably exposed in other locations as well, where it's got other breaking points. So we need to really dig it up and replace the whole thing. This will allow us to kind of, if we did that, replace the whole piping. Initially, I think we said we were going to replace half of the piping, and the estimate was $250,000. We could do that, but once we do that, we're probably gonna make it worse because other spots of that pipe are gonna, keep expanding. So I did ask them to go out there and do another estimate if we replace the whole pipe, and right now that's about $750,000. I know it's expensive, but this is probably the future for all our pipes. And I said this many times before. This is our future with these pipes, and this is probably a low-cost estimate right now. I did speak to GDOT about this particular line because it does run underneath Corridor Z, so they're gonna do some internal testing first, and if they can support us, they'll support us. If not, then they won't support us. So hopefully they're able to help us some kind of way financially with this, but if not, this is gonna be the cost. And I just strongly recommend to the commission, and this will come out of our water and sewer fund, but this is one of those things that's gonna keep happening in the near future if we don't make those adjustments that I've been mentioning for 2 years, a year now. I think that our citizens recognize the problem now as well. We have took citizens to some of the locations to let them see the condition of the pipe, what it is, the clay, the guitar, all those things. So I think citizens are really getting it now. They understand that we gotta start really investing in this stuff. If not, it's gonna be really, really expensive every time it busts. So this is an update. What I'm asking the commission today is, do we want to go with the $250,000 repair, and that would be the entry point of the sinkhole, and about 50 feet of that, right and left, or do we want to go replace the whole line? That's about $750,000. When I say replace the whole line, that's just the Sweat Street on the side of Corridor Z, not underneath Corridor Z. So it's actually probably more than that if we did the whole line underneath Corridor Z. So
Okay. I'll open the floor for questions and discussion. Districts, if you have any questions of our district, of our city manager, please feel free.
Yes,
I'll
Mayor.
look to
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson.
What's your recommendation on that?
Well, Commissioner, like I said, this is gonna be our new, pretty much, 'cause every time we go in the ground, it's gonna be this way. We have been preparing, our approach has always been the $250,000 approach. Cost is well, but we always end up paying much, much more anyway, because it breaks not even 2 or 3 months later, and then we're forced to do that, or a year later, but it's still in that fiscal year. I want to pay the whole $750,000. I did ask that our engineer firm kind of look at other grants. They'll help us out with that, so they're doing that right now. He could not come down because of the storm, but Thursday we have a phone call. If he can find some other ways, that'll be helpful. If not, we have to eat this egg because it's getting to that point.
Yeah. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
District 1, any questions or comments?
I just want to, so you say we don't have the money, all the money for this?
We have the money.
You have
Just
the
saying it's
money.
going to be quite expensive, and it'll deplete us quite a bit. If something else was to happen, we would probably be in a little bit of trouble. Not saying we couldn't finance the next situation, but just like I said, this is our new or our new normal. If we don't do other things to prevent this from happening, so hopefully our engineer firm can figure out some other ways to pay for this, help us pay for this. We could always finance it. I gotta get with the finance director on that. That might be a course of action. We finance it over 5 years. But if we start doing that, we'll be nicking down on our way to failure at some point as well. And like I said, I spoke with GDOT, so hopefully they can give us some other ways, because that sewer line does run either their street as well.
And District 2.
Once again, thank you, Mary. Once again, we don't need to continue doing patchwork. So if we could go ahead and get it done, let's get it done. And that's just for the safety of the entire Waycross. So, yes, sir.
And District 3.
Yes, I have a question, Mayor.
Yes.
What is the current balance in the water sewer funds if we were to vote on using approximately $750,000? What would that bring that balance to?
Would that be great? No, I'm talking great. What would that be?
Sure,
It'd be negative? Yeah. It'll be close to zero.
so we'd rather finance it.
Yeah.
So we can get help elsewhere.
Yeah.
You said it would bring that balance to a negative.
It'll be close to zero.
Yeah, it made the budget negative, so we would prefer paying over time and/or get help of other sources.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Having heard this discussion, any further questions or comments to our city manager? And your recommendation is that we do all of this, but at the same time, you were saying that GDOT could participate, our engineers could participate in possibly finding some other revenue?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I would like to go ahead and just make a decision, because then I can kind of really go hard on what we're gonna do. If we say we're gonna patch it, then we'll patch it. We'll just do what we gotta do. But if we're gonna fix the whole pipe, the whole line, then I need to reach out more to other revenue sources. Or like the finance director said, we probably will end up financing it. But the first goal is see can we, get help with it first from some other source. And then if we can't do that, then we will definitely have to finance it. But we cannot just not do it. And I think it would be financially irresponsible if we waste $250,000 if we don't fix the whole thing. Because like I said, we fix that one part, and then the other part breaks, which is the whole pipe is bad. In a couple months, we'll be coming in again at emergency rates. So.
Okay. So with the recommendation of going ahead and completing the entire project, with the idea that there will be other ways to gather the funding for it, we'll look to the commission to give their thoughts.
And Ms. Mayor, if I can, we will come back with the result. Like once they make a decision right now, then I'll come back to the next meeting, tell you how we
Okay.
financed it. So
Understood.
make sure we make that clear.
All right. So with that being said, I'll start with
Yes.
the districts. We'll start with District 1. And we're looking at his recommendation of the $750K or more, with the understanding that there will be other funding coming from elsewhere.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, as long as we have funding coming from everywhere else, I do believe that we should repair the whole pipe.
Okay. And District 2?
Yes, sir.
District 3?
I have a question.
Yes, certainly.
How soon will we know where this other funding is coming from?
Yeah, once y'all give me direction and say we do the 750, I will get on it tomorrow. I just need to know, because it's our direction kind of based off what y'all decide tonight. If it's 250, I have to reach out to anybody. We can make that work. But if it's more than that, we definitely got to get with everybody else. And I should have an answer by next meeting.
So our next meeting will be the 3rd
The 3rd
of
February.
Okay. So he's saying the February 3rd.
Yes,
Any further questions, Commissioner? So are you agreeing with that?
yes.
Okay. We have 3 right now and 5.
Yes, sir.
And we have 4 agreeing.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're going to move into the GDOT update. And I met with the GDOT team, the district engineer, District 5, last week before last, actually. And we sat down and we did a host of conversations. And some things we're going to talk about here that we discussed have been decided after the studies. Some studies are ongoing, and this is a proposal that he made. He would like the commission to kind of think about moving forward. So before you is a letter that came from the team here about things we discussed that's already been kind of decided because they've done the safety study. And I can read it to the public, but basically we gave them a support letter a while back, and it really outlined 520 Corridor Z, Memorial Drive, Brunswick Avenue to a certain degree, Haynes Avenue, and Havana Avenue. And it basically was putting those raised medians in place to allow citizens not to have to stand in the middle of the road. Also, as many of you know, during your travels, most cities are going this way for their downtown and business directives areas with those medians as well. And I'm gonna go to the maps a little bit so you actually can see it. But basically, those medians will start right there in front of Walmart and work their way all the way up to, I think it's Haynes Street, going up into District 2. That study was ongoing for about 8 months. So that's what they came with. Also in that study, they will provide us with those speed radar detections for our police department. So that will really help out our police department. You know, the laser detectors let you know how fast you're going when you come in. Also, they're gonna do the upgrades on our crossings. So they will go from yellow to red. That's across the board. But we still gotta move some of the crosswalks. And that's a further on discussion we gotta have of where we move the crosswalks to. But that's the horse of that meeting. And also, they did mention the traffic light down there on Brunswick Avenue in front of the coffee shop there. So that traffic light's getting updated. And we discussed the other traffic light down by the stadium getting the same update. So that's in works too. So that was the gist of that part of the meeting. And then we talked about the study is still ongoing right now, and that's from Columbus Street and Crawford Street, also on Corridor Z. And it's basically the same thing. They're looking at coming into the city from Corridor Z. We'll have that. We're going to have the speed radar sign up. That's going to be already done. They want to move the crosswalks again from their current location because we kind of put those out there in a hurry when we put them out there. They'll get the upgraded lights, so the lights will go from yellow to red, which is very important as far as traffic stopping. And then they're going to propose some raised mediums on parts of Corridor Z as well. So that'll be basically starting from District 2, going through District 3 of Corridor Z. That study is still being completed. They're in the final phase of that study. I should know something next month, but right now it looks like all that to be justified. And the good thing about all this, they're paying for everything. So that's the good thing about that. So they're paying for everything at this point. I think this would meet most of the concerns and questions outside of bridges and actual stoplights that our citizens have. I know one of the focal points was down in Haynes Street from two of our concerned citizens. So that crosswalk will be moved a little bit forward, and they will have a red light there for the crosswalk, would in a sense be a red light almost. So it's a good thing about that. And I've talked about City Boulevard and Ninth Avenue and 520 for the signal upgrade. The next part, which is pre-decision right now, And I want to make sure when I say this to the public, it's just pre-decisional, but they did want me to mention to the commission, just for food for thought and to think about the future. No decision has been made, although I must remind everybody that GDOT maintains their own highways. So I'll put that first. So one of the proposals was that Ozzie Davis, that the overpass from Ozzie Davis all the way to Plant Avenue, they want to make that from currently it's 2 lanes, make it 1 lane with a center turning lane. I want everybody to envision that before I move on. Now they've already done a study for this. Traffic will not slow down. The key thing about this, if they took that approach, of course we have the overpass, but then they would fix all of the plumbing, the drainage there, which once again will be cost-free to us. So I know everybody can't see it right now in their heads, but I did go look at, Brunswick has done this too as well. You can make this similar to almost like Auburn Avenue, but you have a center turning lane versus 2 lanes side by side. And for people listening right now, you know if you're running behind somebody right now, Ozzie Davis, they can turn from anywhere. And if they stop at turn, you're gonna stop and wait. That center lane will be ideal. And initially, Ozzie Davis is too small. I think we all recognize that. The right of ways are not in regulation when that was done. So they want to kind of fix that too. But once this all be paid by them, once again, they'll fix all the plumbing and then we will tie in to the new drainage, which will be beneficial to the city. I don't have cost estimates, but I do know 2 of the projects that we can't do right now because they're too much money are both $10 million a piece. And that's why Ozzie Davis is where it is right now as far as some of those bumps. So pre-decisional, he wanted to bring to y'all attention. I'm going to get with our engineering team and just kind of discuss it a little bit more. I think it works. Like I said, it saves us money. It fixes the street because they will do the pavement and the drainage. Normally don't do that. And this will all be a part of that overpass that they'll start doing here shortly. So once again, pre-decisional. Just want to bring it to your attention. So those are some of the things we had at the meeting. There are a few other topics we talked about as far as the canals, where they maintain the canals. But that's I'll have that conversation when I update y'all with the Corps Engineers briefing. And I apologize for any questions, Mr. Mayor.
Now, this meeting, that's going to be soon.
Corps Engineers, yes. Yes.
I'll open the floor to the commissioners. Any questions of our city manager? District 1?
No, sir.
District 2?
No, sir.
District 3?
No.
And District 5?
No, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And like I said, Mr. Mayor, I'm going to send a support letter for those changes recommended already, the revised lights, the raised mediums, and some of the crosswalk movements. And then once we come back and I get the raw data for the pre-decisional stuff, I'll come back to the body and present that as well.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Mayor. These are just some maps, Mr. Mayor. I'm gonna go through these real fast so everybody can see them, kind of get an idea of what we're kind of discussing. We'll put these maps on our website so citizens can see it as well, so they better understand. I know everybody here raised medium and think they won't be able to cross over, but we'll have multiple entry points during the highway. So actually, right now, you already have them. It's just that nobody follows them. It's just yellow lines right now. But you have ways to get across already. I think it's 4 on Memorial. I think it's actually going to be 3 once you get on Corridor Z. So they'll still be there. It's just in the future to be a raised medium that we can't just cross over anywhere. It should not slow down traffic. It should make it very safe for those citizens that cross over to get to the storefronts. These are other locations on Memorial. And like I said, I'll put this online. Y'all should have got email a copy of this. If not, you get it today. And they're gonna do a lot of things, upgrade some of the striping, definitely upgrade the crosswalks. And then all our arrows will get repainted and redone on all of those 2 highways in particular. This going back up Corridor Z to talk about that. And like I said, Ms. Smith, all these have been verified by the safety studies. And the one good thing about this as well, so there were questions about the ongoing safety study. Once they start construction on the overpasses, I'm gonna restart the safety study because then we'll get the true data. Right now, we might not have the amount of cars coming through like they want, but once that bridge starts getting done, we'll have the amount of cars coming through that want. That should trigger a light at that point in time. So we're probably gonna redo that study again. I know everybody probably don't wanna hear that, but that's the best thing we can do. And once GDOT gets those hardcore numbers, then those lights we talked about probably could be inserted as well. And last thing before I move on to the employee handbook, Mr. Mayor, I did an update. I did speak with the railroad engineer last week as well. So just to clear for the public, there's not an additional railroad being made. It's the same line. It's not gonna be 2 tracks. It's the same track. What they're doing is they're gonna replace at each crossing new tracks. So they're putting the new tracks together on the side of the other railroad track. It looks like 2 tracks, but it's new tracks. So and once they get done getting new tracks together, they'll pull the old tracks, put the new tracks down, and then resurface the whole thing. They plan to resurface all of the crossings all the way down Memorial, all the way to the Rice Yard, and then they've already started on Ozzie Davis as well. So with that, there are rocks, loose rocks, where they've took out the cement holding the rails. So if you speed over there, you're gonna hit those rocks. They're gonna fly up everywhere. If you drive the speed limit or slow down crossing the railroads, you should not be affected. So yeah. So just encouraging everybody to just take their time. Once again, it's gonna be a lot of construction because they were supposed to start today, but I'm pretty sure they didn't start because of the weather. So once again, they'll probably start next week. We have our roads ongoing, the parks eventually, so there'll be a lot of stuff going on in the community. While all that's going on, they have got to slow down. I think we had 7 accidents this weekend, but one fatality. So if citizens way across could hear me speak to the commission now, please slow down. That's the only way to prevent, harm to your vehicle and to somebody else. All the safety studies show if you drive the speed limit, you won't have any problems. Anything over the speed limit 10 miles per hour, you're gonna damage your car. And I pause there, Mr. Mayor, for any questions on infrastructure.
Okay. I'll open the floor to the commission. District 1,
No, sir.
District 2,
No, sir.
District 3, and District 5.
No, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, we move into the employee handbook. We didn't change anything from the last meeting. I am requesting a vote this time to get the handbook up. It's been updated with all the regulation changes that we had to do to be in line with state regulation and some other laws. So I think last time we couldn't get a vote. So, Ms. Mayor, I'm requesting a vote. I don't want to spend a lot of time here. If we want to leave executive and contract employees in there, it is confusing. Like I said, we're moving forward. We got to define. The only executive is the person who has signature authority for the city, which is the mayor and the city manager. So that would mean when you say executive, that's what you're talking about. Legislation would be the commission body. So we can leave it in there or take it out, but I want to go ahead and get this updated so we don't keep operating on something that's not been signed in the last couple of years.
Okay. So the recommendation is to receive the employee handbook with the change of terminology for executive and contract.
Okay.
employee.
And they had emailed a copy at least about 2 weeks ago, so you saw all the changes in there according with state law and some other recommendations. I think it was 2 other situations. They just word change. The main thing was being in state compliance, and then this contract comment was confusing.
Okay.
So
Did you want the city attorney to say anything regarding this book before we bring it up?
I don't think
Because
you
is there
need
going
to.
to be a resolution or any sort of thing that has to be done for us to do this, or will it just take place after we vote?
There is a resolution
Okay.
incorporating the changes, and we didn't put all of the changes in the resolution. We just referred to Exhibit A, which is that document that you received with all of
Yes,
those
sir.
changes. That's going to be Exhibit A, and then the handbook itself will incorporate those changes
Very good.
when it's redone. But yeah, there is a resolution that's before you tonight.
So that's good for clarity. That's good.
Yes.
Okay. For consent, I guess I'll just go down District 1. Or do you consent? District 2,
Yes, sir.
District 3.
Are we open for discussion?
You can ask questions.
Yes.
I opened up
have
for
a
it.
question. You mentioned that executive is the mayor and city manager, and legislation is the commission.
Yes.
If you notice in the handbook where it says executive and contracted employees, that's in bold. So I'm pretty sure it's in bold for a reason. So where did this change come about that now the mayor and city manager is referred to as executive and the commission is referred to as legislative?
So if you look at all bodies of government, start with the president down, you got the president, his roles and responsibilities, and you got the House and the Senate. Y'all be considered the House and the Senate, same thing with the state level, it's the same concept. I'm a contractor, so that's why I said I brought up the contractor. So executive and contractor means mayor and city manager. We also have city authority. Executive is somebody who can sign for the city. Nobody in the commission can sign for the city. And I got with Jimmy on that. But Commissioner, I'm fine however y'all want to do it, because that's neither here nor there for me. I want to get it done so that the city employees kind of know what their standards are, because it's becoming confusing if we keep on dragging this along. So.
Any further questions, Commissioner?
I'd just like to see it in writing
Okay.
from GMA. Thank
Okay.
you.
And District 5?
We'll move forward.
Okay. So we have 3?
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And next, Mr. Mayor, finally, is my contract. I presented my letter of renegotiation in December to the commission. You should have a copy of that letter on the desk.
You do.
And because we have to do this in open forum, Mr. Mayor, I gotta read what my negotiation was. I asked that my term be moved from 1 to 3 years, and I can explain that if need be. This is my observation being here with this commission. Anybody coming here behind me or me following City Manager Miller, you're gonna be really confused a little bit, and it's not me throwing stones, but just to be honest, we back to the charter conversation, and you're trying to figure out how stuff was done, and we didn't keep a lot of recommendations. We didn't keep a lot of stuff. We didn't record a lot of stuff. So I'm trying my best now to better my foxhole. So in the event I am terminated or I do leave, the next city manager won't come in here and be trying to fix all these things that's been issues for years. So that being said, he or she is gonna need at least 3 years to do all that. Even now, if I'm unsuccessful with some of the things we got going on, the next person, because I did bring some things to light, I just added more stuff to the pile that needs to be worked through. I think it's only fair. Also, that gives he or she ability to work through different commissions, because that way there's elections involved in there, and they can manage that. So when things change after the election, they're not just blindsided all the time. I did call around and look at other city managers' contract and county managers. Everybody does it differently. So, but I think also just being here, that does give the city manager a position, give city manager some confidence that they will be allowed to fix some things out. Because right now, and just me being transparent and honest, if you're not allowed to fix anything that's been broke for 50 years, I don't understand how you can fix it in 1 year, or 2 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. So I just, for me personally, I want to start something, because even if I stay here 20 years, it won't get everything fixed back the way it should be. So the people coming in behind me need to have that ability to do the same thing. And I'm questioning that it be a 3-year commitment versus a 1 year. And I also say that because, and I go on to the next thing, where they talked about being terminated without cause. It's hard to operate. We don't have any tangible stuff when certain commissioners don't think stuff is being done, and just when it's being done, it's hard to figure out what you got to do. And I say this out loud: when I was looked at being released last year in November, it was nothing I could understand tangible. I know it's a personality thing, and that might be good, but that's the problem here. It's a little too much personality, and I just want to fix things. Stuff need to be fixed here. We all know that. And that should be the goal. And the city, when I say fixed, I mean the whole city, not an individual district or anybody in special, just the whole city. And that's a complex problem right now, because we have a lot going on. It's gonna take some time and some teamwork, for the commission itself, and then whoever's the city manager. And then I talked about my automobile. I showed you all the stats. I am the lowest paid city manager, per capita, size-wise and vehicle allowance. I did ask to raise it to $500 because I go through gas. I've already damaged my truck a couple times. Just going on to check things, definitely in storms, and I can't use the city cars and stuff like that. So I'm putting some extra insurance on my car to cover that as a work vehicle, but that's quite expensive as well. So those were my negotiations. I didn't ask for a pay raise or anything like that. I enjoy my job, although we had some friction here the last 8-10 months. I do think we're going in the right direction. And I go back to when I first got here and I briefed on the commission what I would do. I've stuck strictly to this, and I think we've been effective. Nothing has been dropped. I think all projects are moving forward. I think the communication is definitely better. I think our branding is definitely better. The cost savings is not there right now. Like I said, I didn't realize how much stuff it costs to fix like I do now. So I definitely got to go back and look at that for this next cycle. Me and the finance director are going to figure out some different things because stuff is just breaking too fast, to keep up with it. But these are my tangible items that I've been sticking to, as well as the charter, trying to stay aligned with the charter so we don't keep going on about who did something back 25 years ago. So I like to renegotiate my contract to start in February. I think February 7th is on the resolution with these terms, with these 3 changes in Section 1, Section 6, and Section 11, and then I'll kind of move on from there. And I pause there for any questions on that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. I'll look to the commission for any questions they may have. District 1.
Yes, sir. I think you're doing a good job. I just have a question. This is just for you, right?
Just for me?
Yes, sir. This is your contract.
Oh, this is my
Next
contract,
City
yes.
manager in this case, we do get another city manager. This ain't for them, right?
Oh, y'all can change it. Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's what I want to make sure. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner. District 2.
No questions, but thank you for a wonderful job.
Thank you, Commissioner. District 3.
Yes, Mayor, I have a comment
Yes, ma'am.
on a clarification. You stated that last November that you were looked at being released as the city manager from the city of Wake Forest.
Correct.
I recall that you submitted in an email a letter of resignation stating that you wanted to resign, not that the commission was looking at releasing you.
No, I said that email. I was thinking about it once I got wind of the commission, not all the commission, but the 3 that was calling those meetings to fire me. And we can have that open discussion right now if we want to. I mean, like I say, even at that time, I feel like I was doing my job as best I could, but I guess it got personal. So it's still personal, which is fine. I would like to move on from all that because the city needs us all be joined together right now because we've got too much going on for this back and forth that we always keep doing. So I'm gonna throw the olive branch out there one more time, Commissioner, just in front of everybody. I apologize if I offend you anyway. I've tried to work with your district as best I can, with everybody's districts, but it's getting real, like I said, it's getting real difficult on the workforce if we keep doing this back and forth. So I apologize. I just want to start fresh. So what can we do to kind of go fresh? Because it's not helping anybody else if we keep staying where we stand right now. So, and I don't understand November. I really don't. Only reason I brought that up because, if somebody hadn't came and told me what's going on, I want to know. At least somebody had the fortitude later on, I won't say his name here, to tell me what's going on. And I appreciate him for telling me that, although he's not here anymore. So, thank you.
Mayor,
Commissioner.
I appreciate your extension of your olive branch, but for the record, I have extended multiple olive branches to you, Mr. City Manager, in public and private. And when I ask questions, I'm asking for clarification and accuracy and truth.
Okay.
And there have been times that you've said things about me, statements that you made, testimonies that you made against me that were not true. But
Okay.
I agree. Let's move forward.
No response. I'm
Thank
past
you.
all that. What
Thank
we want to
you.
do, we can do. Yeah.
I am as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. And District 5.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we're looking at now is the agreement, and we can go forward with it. It seems that we have all we needed. We have 3. So you can document districts 1, 2, 3 is saying olive branch out, and we're starting fresh, and 5 is saying yes as well. So the contract for the, I believe this goes to the attorney for this purpose. Is that correct?
There is a resolution before you tonight incorporating the changes that the city manager just spoke of.
Okay, very good. So we have that in hand. All right, sounds like we're ready to go.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next, Mr. Mayor, we're moving to the privilege license renewals, and we have 5 privilege license renewals. We have no privilege licenses. We have no proposed ordinances. We have 5 proposed resolutions. Am I correct, City Attorney?
That is correct.
Okay. And the City Attorney can touch on those resolutions if need be, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
The first resolution is to approve amendments to the 2019, as a misprint here, says 2018, but 2019 Waycross Employee Handbook that the manager just spoke about, to provide for clarification, updates to multiple sections in order to comply with the city charter and state law. The second resolution is to approve loan financing for the 6 Dodge Durango Pursuit vehicles that the purchasing director spoke about tonight, with the 4 point, whatever that interest rate was, it was really low. The third resolution is a resolution to approve the purchase of the police equipment for those same 6 pursuit vehicles at a cost of some $48,000, I believe. The fourth resolution is a resolution for the city of Waycross to declare 12 fire hoses to be surplus property because they no longer meet the standards for the city of Waycross Fire Department. And the fifth resolution is to approve the entry of an employment agreement with the city manager upon the terms and conditions that are attached to that, to the resolution and to the contract. And those are the resolutions.
Okay. Is there a city attorney report?
No.
Okay. And is there a city manager's report?
No, Mr. Mayor, but we do have executive session for personnel. It won't take long.
Okay. All right. With that being said, we'll just open for a motion, and that will take us into executive session for personnel.
Move for approval.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. The motion was given by our Commissioner Nelson and seconded by our Commissioner Felder. We'll move into voting. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. We're now entering into executive session. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We'll see